Hello. Let me know that this mic's working. Oh. Hi everyone. Can everyone see me okay? See and hear me okay? Let me know in the chat, please. Oh, fabulous. Amazing. I'll just give it a few seconds. Oh. I'm still just as nervous as I was last time, but I've had a few wines before this one today. Oh, the chat isn't working. Let me see. It should start to load up now. Hello. Are we all okay? I think eventually once the chat works it should start scrolling up. Alrighty. So I'm going to be jumping back into this painting today. Just waiting for a few more people to jump on. So the plan today is, quick introduction to what I'm going to be doing today is we're jumping back obviously into this painting of Vader, and we're going to start to highlight areas of the eyes and just clean up these areas today. I have got a sore throat and I sound a little bit like Abby Lee Miller from Dance Mum, so if I cough or sneeze, I'm just not well. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to grab some lighter colour. If you see me jumping over here, I've just got my little art trolley over this side. I hope everyone's doing well this weekend. I'm quite poorly at the minute, if anyone missed that. That's why I've got a really deep voice today. But yeah, everyone in our office has been getting the flu today. Not today, this week. So that's why I sound a little bit... I've got a bit of a deep sensual voice today. Alright, so what I'm going to do today, as I've just said to a few of the others, I'm going to work on this section of the face and see where we get up to. Last week went so quick, like went really quick, and I felt like I didn't get that much done. I was too busy just chatting away to everyone, which isn't a bad thing. So feel free to comment any questions because it really does help me along with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start to add some highlights to this area today. So I'm going to add in some... I know some people were having issues with the chat last week. So if you've got a really burning question, I do get notifications from Instagram, so you can give me a message on Instagram as well. So I'm working with a variety of different reference images for this piece. Now the original one that the client sent to me, it was, you could see Anakin's other eye in the mask, but I kind of wanted it to be a little bit more realistic and kind of symbolic to the scene in Obi-Wan, if that makes sense. Okay. And I'm just going in with a pale, I've been using, it sounds strange, but I've been using a lot of pinks and purples and things on this, so I'm using a really, really light baby pink, and it's just kind of the mixture of that red and blue. And I do apologise if I cough, sorry. I'm going to add in some highlights there. Sorry. I'm feeling a little bit better. I had some disgusting throat syrup today. I literally, like, I was gagging, it was disgusting. I'm feeling a lot better. I've just had a bit of a tickle in my throat, really. But yeah, if there's anyone obviously new who may not have jumped on the stream last time, just the reason why I'm kind of streaming at the minute is just to have more contact with you guys, but also this is what I want to be doing more full time. I want to be creating art, and this is a really good way to interact with people and let them see what I'm working on. And they can see a face to the artwork, if that makes sense. The highlight that I'm working on here is a little bit weird. Probably looks a bit strange, but I'm going to try and like blend it outwards. Let's have a little bit of a reflection there. The thing is, I'll probably paint this once and then end up painting over it again. But the aim is just to get this mask looking a little bit more realistic and showing those highlights a little bit more. Might add a little bit of highlight here, just to show that like curvature. Just add a little bit of curvature to that eye. Oops. Yeah, bear with me, I am a little bit poorly today. Of course, I haven't coughed for like the past few hours, and all of a sudden I'm having a coughing fit. Back again. Sorry, I just had a coughing fit off street. I know, it's one of those as well. I didn't want to cancel today because I told everyone that I was doing it. Yeah, I might take a pause at like midway through and get some more cough syrup. Right, I think because I've started talking, I haven't talked much all day. But yeah, I think I'm going to add a little bit more red highlights as well. Yeah, I'll go grab some old fashions out the cupboard now and grab some whiskey. I feel a little bit better now. The full-on coughing fit. I mean, at least I muted myself for you guys. Alright, so just make sure that that's in focus. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to add like a little bit of red highlight to the inner corner here. As well as to the upper eyelid. Sorry, I just guzzled down some cough syrup and it's the most disgusting cough syrup ever. It's like cherry flavoured, but it doesn't taste like cherry. So if I'm a little bit quieter than obviously last week, it's because I'm trying not to cough. So yeah, I'm just going to add some red highlights in some areas here just to kind of make this look a little bit more 3D. Now, to be honest, I probably will go in with a little bit of a thicker brush in a second. And I'm just going to thicken up kind of these mid-tones here. I never ever have pretty nails, by the way, because either I'm doing art or I'm working with animals. So I never have had pretty nails on. So yeah, I think over the next few streams, the plan is obviously to work on this, but I am thinking about doing a large scale piece that I'll be doing mainly on streams. I think I've talked to a few people about it, like doing a large piece of some dragons, and probably do it about like Catwoman scale, so like this height behind me. Might actually do as well. I'm just going to go in with a little bit more pink tones here. But yeah, I think I've just had like a really heavy week the last 2 weeks in work, and I started to get sick straight after the last stream, so I don't know whether it was just a mixture of illness and stress. So yeah, I'm actually adding some little pink tones. So the highlights here that I'm kind of trying to match up with these like transitional tones in the middle. I started off with a little bit of white, but then went in with some pink. Yes, I'm thinking about doing the large scale dragon piece. I think I'm going to do that purely black and white. So I've kindly had a donation this week from one of the followers from one of my followers, sorry, on Instagram. So I'm going to get a large scale canvas and start that hopefully in the next few weeks. So I'm going to start from like the whole process from start to finish, so you'll be able to see the drawing stage through to the initial start of painting. Sorry. I think that's actually looking a little bit bright as well. So I might dull this down a little bit later. I think I'm going to add some more of that highlight shade. Let me just get a little bit more linseed oil. I'm just going to add a little bit of highlight around the eye there. Looking quite cute. Add a few more highlights there. Hello to anyone who's just joined. Just working on some of these little highlights in the mask. Between coughing fits, I've had multiple coughing fits. I've tried to mute myself a few times. The funny thing is as well, I literally, for the past few hours, have not coughed at all. I was coughing all last night. I've not coughed at all until I started this stream. So, sorry. All the talking, maybe I'm talking too much. But yeah, when I took this commission, I was really excited by it. And since I've started painting, I've not really worked smaller scale like this. Sorry. I have been painting larger scale, so it's a challenge in itself. Actually working in the details at a smaller scale. I find when you work in large scale, you can focus on the details a lot easier, because obviously you've got more room to work with, but you do struggle to see them until you take a step back as well. But yeah, as I said before about the streaming, I am thinking about doing some digital drawing streams as well, so on Procreate. And maybe some Adobe software as well, if anyone's interested in that. Because I work a lot between I love to sketch digitally. I hate sketching on paper. I don't know why. I've just find I like to have an undo button. And sometimes when I've been working digitally and then I jump into a painting, I'll sometimes find myself trying like to zoom out or zoom in, or trying to find the undo button, just because out of habit. I find it so funny when I watch myself, well, when I think of it. All right, that's starting to look quite reflective now. Where did I put that paintbrush? There it is. Yeah, I'm not a very organised person. You'll come to find that if you watch these quite often. Let's get a little bit of linseed oil. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of grey. Just mix some of these colours really quickly. Almost like a purpley grey. So it would be a little bit darker. Let's try that. I think that's going to be, sometimes I'll test the shade like on my hand. So I always end up covered in paint. And that looks a little bit too light. Going with a little bit of a transitional shade here. Yeah, like I'll go to double tap the canvas, or I always try and zoom out. It's so funny. It's really embarrassing when you do it though. You're just like, oh. But yeah, I'm thinking of doing just some Procreate streams, because that's generally where I do like general sketches and things like that. just like taking a little step back. Just gonna try and get a little bit darker. For some reason my black is very purple, so I think I pre-mixed it earlier with some purple. But yeah, I think I paint a lot of Star Wars stuff, and a few people ask me if Star Wars is mainly what I focus on. I basically will paint anything that interests me. I would like to do a lot more fantasy style paintings. Just gonna add a little bit of darker shade there because it went a bit too light. I might even add a little bit of that darker shade here. I think Procreate really motivated me to start art again as well, because I originally, when I started creating again and I created my Instagram account, I was creating a lot of fan art on Procreate. What I might do is just blend that out a little bit. If I go really quiet, it's just because I'm focused, sorry. I love when I start to blend out and it starts to look a lot more realistic. I don't know if you guys can see it very well. I might zoom in a little bit. Ooh. Doesn't help when I completely lose focus. Just a little bit too bright there. There we go. It's a little bit better. So you can start to see I have a delay on the screen when I'm watching it back on the stream to see how you guys view it. What I might do is actually, I might put a little bit more purple there. See, sometimes I'll go off a reference image and then sometimes I'll just wing it. Let's add a darker shade there. My favourite part about any process as well is blending. I go so quiet, sorry. Just trying to mix a dark enough shade. Looking quite cute. I think I do need to add a little bit more highlight. Sometimes I blend and I now ruin the work that I've done. Just going to go in a little bit more with that lighter tone. A little bit more in there. And then I think there's a little bit of highlight as well. If we add a little bit more to this. So sometimes I'll just like use this like cross hatch technique and then I'll go in and blend it. And I love working with oils because of the blendability. Let's have a look at that. And then what I need to make sure as well is that those edges stay really dark, otherwise you're going to lose that kind of bowl effect, you know, on the eye. It's going to darken that. Okay, I'm liking that. And then I might just darken this area whilst I'm here as well. Right, I'm just going to switch my references really quick. Okay, let's add some darker areas here. Now I left the line here on purpose because there's a bit of a highlight here, but it's like very minute. Just gonna kind of leave myself a little bit of guidance there. That should go all the way down. I'm actually loving how this is coming together. It's been really helpful having this, basically the stream to motivate me, because kind of I can't just stand here and talk, I'm kind of forced to paint. And then let's go up here and start to fill these shadows in as well. And then let me just zoom in a little bit again for you guys to... Oh, I'm zooming out. Yay! Is that zooming anymore? There we go. And it does come up a little bit brighter on camera, but you can start to see those details coming through on the eye. And it just really starts to come together. It makes me excited. I don't know what you guys think. Any feedback's always welcome as well if you ever want to comment any feedback. And obviously just always remember that it is a work in progress. Let's maybe... It's a real struggle trying to see this reference with the lighting in here. I think this points down a little bit. I'm trying to wing it a little bit. It's one of those as well with his mask being so iconic. Thank you, Jenny. And then let's add in oh yeah, I completely struggle with the momentum of staying motivated. With working full time, particularly in my profession, because I take a lot home with me as well. I don't know if anyone who's obviously watching this works in education. but I literally have like young people talking at me all day. And don't get me wrong, I love it. I love answering all the problems and it's so rewarding seeing them learn and develop. But obviously when you get home, you're just exhausted from talking to all these people all day. And it is a real struggle to find motivation. And again, that's one of the reasons why I started these streams. Is because I was lacking that motivation, even painting things that I loved. I found it quite difficult to keep that momentum going. Sometimes I get really excited to start a piece. Sorry, I'm just focused. Just get a little bit more oil. So I use linseed oil as a medium. It's very slow drying, and that's just what I'm reaching for at the side here. Sometimes I use cheaper thinner as well. Just I'm being fancy lately and using the linseed oil. It takes a lot longer to dry, and the blendability it's like butter. But yeah, I think obviously I try and motivate myself with drawing things that I love. So obviously I do a lot of like fandom art, like sci-fi. I want to do a lot more fantasy art, hence why I want to do the dragons. I am reading a book at the minute that has really motivated that. To be honest, I've been reading Fourth Wing. I don't know if anyone obviously has read it who's watching. Yeah, there's Jen, you're always gonna have like an ugly stage and you're gonna hate it, and it's kind of just pushing past that. I sometimes struggle with like the momentum to keep going, and then all of a sudden I'll maybe have some rest. Actually, a lot of the time I'll have a week's rest in like or 2 weeks holiday or something like that, and then I'm really motivated to want to do more. But yeah, I know it's really hard, like when you get to a certain point in the piece and you're just like, oh my gosh. It's like this piece, prior to me adding these details during the last 2 live streams, I was just looking at it like, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. It looks horrific. I don't know how I'm gonna make it better. But like even like the little bits that I've done with you guys the past 2 weeks, the past 2 weekends on these areas, it's just starting to look so much more realistic. But yeah, I think starting I don't struggle with, because I always get really excited and I get into like a hyperfixation mode, and I'm like, I need to draw this, I need to start it, and then I'll put in a few hours and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm done. And that's why I've probably got so many unfinished projects. I have finished my R2D2 project, which I'm really excited about. I'm excited for the client to see it, but well, it's just drying at the moment. But it is fully painted. But other projects that I have on the go, like Catwoman and C3PO, they're kind of ones that I've just done for fun. So I do struggle with motivation on those. I'm thinking actually I might do some live streams with my Catwoman painting, just adding in some details and things like that. Sorry. yeah, just detailing the piece, like, and maybe you guys keeping me company and keeping me motivated, because it's so mind numbing, and I struggle with repetitive tasks, like repetitive boring tasks. So sometimes with the Catwoman I've kind of got to a block just working on those stitches. I'm just gonna blend this out a little bit. Excuse me. All right. Actually really liking how that's looking. See, I can't believe it's almost been an hour already. And this is the thing, I'll take so much time. Sorry, I'm just trying to see this reference image. Okay, that's quite dark. Yeah, I think I'm going to do like a mixture of a few different streams, because obviously I don't want to be doing the same thing every week, because that'll just obviously be boring for everyone. I'll probably try and, obviously the last 2 weeks I've kind of just winged it and just pushed myself to start because I've been so anxious about it. Let's see that. So I am quite proud of myself for starting. But yeah, I think over the next few weeks I'm probably gonna flip between projects. Obviously continue working on the same one so you guys can see the progression. So you can see the progression and things like that, but I'm thinking maybe, again, like flitting between, like, you know, final details of Catwoman, starting a new project, working through the middle stages of a project. I think it will hopefully be a bit more entertaining for everyone. It's like with Catwoman as well, there's so much detail to go on the bottom part, and I feel like I've added areas to it that I'm not fully happy with as well. So that's one of those moments where I've got to a point with that I've just got a block. A complete block at the minute. But again, this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this, because I feel like it'll just motivate me a little bit more. And obviously, if you guys could give me any feedback on the streams, if there's anything that I can improve, I'm always welcome to that. Okay. But yeah, I do get stressed sometimes, obviously, because I'm working on commission pieces, and I am a person who likes working at their own pace. So when I'm working on commissions and I've got a time frame, I do struggle a little bit mentally with that, motivation wise, if that makes sense. Sorry. I think that's why it's important as well, if anyone's like thinking of doing commission work, that you work on pieces that you want to work on. Don't, I mean, obviously financially, sometimes we'll take on any commissions that we can get. But I think it does sometimes, like, if you take on a commission that you it's something that you don't fully enjoy. It does kind of suck the fun out for you as a creator, because artistically it's not something that you're wanting to create, you're motivated to create, if that makes sense. And I think that's something I'm going to work on myself, is it's okay to say no to commissions. But luckily, after some of the Star Wars ones that I've created, I've had a lot of commissions focused on Star Wars off the back of that I'm really enjoying creating, so. But yeah, I do want to focus more on showing the process, and I think I'm going to start up, because I can't upload these to Twitch just yet, because you've got to have so many followers and so many views and things like that, and you've got to go live a certain amount of time as well. So what I'll do in the meantime is I'm going to upload these to YouTube, so obviously people who can't see it can watch it on there. I'm just going to try and expand on how I promote my artwork and things like that, and just try to be a little bit more active on Instagram. Again, the commissions from these pieces really just stemmed from social media posts and expanding on social media sites that I'd never used before, really, like TikTok and things like that. Okay, I'm kind of liking how that's looking. I don't know if it reads well on camera. It's starting to look quite realistic. I do need to darken areas, but I might go in with that a little bit later. And I need to add more highlights, like here under the eye. There's like a few. Sorry. And I sometimes try and avoid going in with pure white until the very end, because that pure white really stands out against anything. So I'm using like a bit of a baby pink at the minute. Let me just zoom in here. There we go. There's like a little bit of a highlight here. I would really like to make some tutorial videos in the future. I am a teacher, obviously full-time, so it probably come quite naturally to me. I like sharing my practice with others. I know sometimes people can be a little, I can't get my words out today, a little bit protective with their methods and their techniques and things like that, and they're you know, what helps them progress. They don't like sharing it sometimes, but I feel like that's something I'd like to share with everyone. I do just think I'll need a little bit of time to set that up. How's that looking? I like that so far, that's looking good. I might add some little highlights. I think what I'm trying to do as well is be a little bit more positive about what I'm creating. I know everyone who creates is their own biggest critic. Sorry, I'm just really focused here. But yeah, I think I would like to do tutorial type videos on the likes of Patreon and things like that, and try and make a little bit of money with it. And do it more on, you know, almost like a one-to-one basis. I would like to be doing this full time. But obviously right now it's not financially viable. Would like to work for myself in the future. Kind of relieve those pressures of working for someone else. We were chatting in the office actually in work. We were talking about, everyone was talking about their 10-year plan, like what are you going to do in 10 years time. And my kind of first answer was working for myself. I think I'm quite sensitive and I try so hard sometimes that sometimes working for corporate companies that is all about data, even the education system at the minute, it's all about data, and my brain just doesn't like that. My brain doesn't like numbers. I just want to paint pretty pictures. Ooh, I'm liking it with those highlights. I don't know how it looks for you guys on screen. It's like up here, there's like a little tiny highlights. But yeah, I also found that a really hard question as well. Like, where do you see yourself in 10 years time? I think it's really hard. I'm like, I still see myself as like a teenager. I'm just a girl. Try not to lean on this as well. I should have really got a stick. It's like, how does anyone know how to answer that question, really? Where do you see yourself in 10 years time? My mind changes all the time. Like, I originally went to college and I studied graphic design, and I went on to teach that, and then I absolutely hated teaching. I hated all the paperwork. I was like, no, this isn't for me. I loved teaching. I love supporting young people, and I love helping them like develop, but like as a person, but I hate paperwork. It's not for me. So I ended up working in animal rescue for about 3 to 4 years. Just taking a step back, look at that. Yeah, I worked in animal rescue for about 3 to 4 years in a wildlife centre. So I helped rescue baby hedgehogs and baby birds. But again, and I loved that. I loved working in rescue. I loved working with the animals. But that kind of world, it attracts certain types of people with egos, and also it's very low paid for the amount of work that you do. I was only on minimum wage, so I ended up getting back into teaching just for financial reasons, basically. Well, mainly for financial reasons. Okay. I've just realised the time as well. I might stay on a little bit longer today. I might actually work on some of the mouthpiece. So feel free to stay with me, but you don't have to. I was kind of aiming for the hour mark each time, just because I didn't want to stress myself out with time constraints. And also I have work tomorrow. I get up really early. I get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I feel like anyone who follows me on Instagram always sees me on the train. Because it takes me like an hour and a half to get to work every day. So I get up at like 5 in the morning. So I probably won't be on too late today. Look, I always end up leaning in it. Yeah, I need a job where I can just get up midday. Get up at midday, but then be back for like 6 o'clock. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I would like to work for myself, like just so I can have work hours that I'm happy with as well. Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot more relaxed this live stream than I did last week. Oh, let me stop, make sure I'm not in the way of the camera. I have had a few wines before, and I was listening to Lady Gaga Abracadabra on repeat before it started. Right. Let's do a little bit on this mouth. So the mouth area, it's lots of dots at the minute. So I'm just going to try and add them in. Just kind of template them in first. I don't know if you guys can hear the music in the background, but let me know if it's too loud. I'm just going to kind of like throw these in quite quickly. Because I will be kind of painting in between them as well. Because some of them are, sorry. Some of them are a little bit more like faded. In comparison to others. But even just adding those, like, it looks really good on screen. Even just adding those little details just makes it stand out so much already. Look more realistic. Sorry. Just gonna have a drink really quick. Give me 2 seconds, guys. And I'm back. I cut this fringe in like a few weeks ago, but now it's starting to grow, and I liked it at the time, but it's just giving me lots of issues. Like, it's getting in my eyelashes. Okay, so if we add in some more little dots here. I think I did the initial ones a little bit too far apart. And I need to do these a little bit. They're almost in like little triangular sections, so I feel like I'm not trying to create those little gaps in between. And I think that'll just come when I add like some darker shades as well. And I work kind of weirdly because sometimes I'll start to detail. Like I don't want it, sometimes I don't want to detail too early on, but then I sometimes will find myself detailing, but then I end up paying over it anyway. It's like that part already that I've just added in, I know that's too thick. So what I might do is just go in with that darker brush that I had before. That looks a little bit better. And then these areas at the bottom are like they glow a little bit red. So if I go red, and then a little bit of white over it. Well, not white, I'm using like a really, I don't know if you guys can see it on the palette. My gross, oh, I can show you guys on this camera. My gross palette. It's like this baby, ooh, let's see there. It's like this little baby pink. I'm going to use a little bit, kind of a little bit darker baby pink. I swear I need to keep my hands still. And it's like little minute details that you guys probably can't see on the screen well. I feel really mean because I've locked Oliver away. I think I'm always going to have technical difficulties. Yeah, I feel really bad because I locked Oliver away today. But normally she's always in like the studio room looking around at what I'm doing. And the other day she had like red paint after the stream actually, because I don't know if anyone noticed last week, but I dropped the palette at the very beginning and I splashed red paint all over the side of something and didn't notice because I was like just in a flurry to get back up. And she basically like walked into the red paint, so she had red paint all over her. Okay. Now there's little like highlights here. I feel like I drew these on originally wrong. I'm gonna repaint them in. Little highlights there. It's a little bit better. Straightened off there. This line is supposed to be a little bit first, so sometimes I will draw out the original sketch. and it's just wrong. Sometimes I will like freehand it, or I tend to use the grid method a lot, which is very tedious, but it really helps me like align everything perfectly. I don't know if drawing like, you know, fairy animals is for me. I feel like I've thought about drawing like painting birds and a few parrots, but I don't know if I'd do pets. Like all the individual hairs, I'd just be like, ah. But I do want to paint a dragon. I keep talking about this dragon because I'm really excited to paint it. But yeah, I've never really had, I know a lot of people do like pet portraits and things like that. Excuse me. And yeah, some people do like pet portraits and things like that, and I've just never ever been drawn in by that or excited by it. And I know what my brain's like. I need to be excited by something to be engaged with it, if that makes sense. It's like what we were talking about before, about motivation and what kind of drives me to do art at the minute. Okay. Try to separate that a little bit. It's like I think I'm more interested in like portraiture and characters. I find it really interesting painting characters or people. I feel like you can just really tell a story, or ooh, that a little bit wonky. Yeah, I feel like painting someone else's like beloved pet would be so stressful. Like if someone painted my olive and made it really ugly, I'd be angry. I wouldn't want to pay. So that's why I wouldn't. It's like when people ask you to, I don't know any like creatives are obviously watching, but when people ask you to like draw the children or do a painting of the children, I'm just like, I'm staying away from that. I used to always get it with like family members. Oh, could you draw a picture of this person? Just like, I'd just be too stressed for it to go wrong. I think that's why I like doing characters as well, because everyone always has their own their own interpretation, and they're drawn in so many different styles. I feel like you're really, Jen, you're really stressed as well when you're painting your own pets. Did she? Yeah, that's it. Like they'll see it. Like I think someone in work actually, they asked me if I'd paint their family, and I was a little bit like, oh, no, I'm not doing that. And then I actually, he goes on a lot of cruises and things like that. and he spends a lot of money on paintings, and I was like, I could charge him that much for that painting. So it's just kind of managing the stress of the project and matching that kind of with the financial gain. Oh, I'm trying really hard to get these in the right place. What I find as well with adding the details on these pieces, you've got to remember as well that it's a painting. Sometimes it's great not to be too photorealistic because it gives it a little bit more of a personal feel, a personal style, if that makes sense. I'm one that's really struggled with figuring out what my personal style is. Because I feel like you see a lot of artists out there, they'll have a defined style. Hold on, let me just put these dots in. And that's something I really, sorry, I got a hiccup then. That's something I put a lot of pressure on myself for a long time, is that I should have my own personal style. And every painting that I do or every drawing that I do should be consistent. But I think because I've come from a like graphic design background, can't get my words out today, background, it's a very commercialized background, so you're creating things for the client rather than for yourself and developing your own style, if that makes sense. You know, they're giving you prompts of what they want you to create, so you're creating something that makes the client happy. And sometimes the client wants something and it doesn't look great. And I think that's why like this year, like the past few, like 2-3 years, I've just been kind of focusing on what I want to create and what makes me happy. And if there's any financial, benefits from that and gain, then that's a perk. Blur those out a little bit. Yeah, I couldn't think of anything worse than like drawing something for someone or painting something for someone and they absolutely hated it. I think that's the harsh reality of like being an artist, like the stress. It's like I'd much rather, when I think about it now, I'd much rather like create pieces and then sell them in a shop like that. I think that would be the best for me mentally. Especially when obviously like the prices excuse me, like I want to try, I think it's really hard to price paintings as well because you want to charge what you're worth and the amount of time that you put in. Like the 2 hours that we worked on, we've worked on this together the last 2 weeks, I've only made like minute progress and I've spent like 2 to 3 hours on it. So that kind of puts into perspective how long these pieces take. And I think we obviously should be charging appropriately for our time, the amount of effort that we put into it. And I think as artists we sometimes we'll want to again just appease the client, and we sometimes fully don't know our worth. What's that looking on screen? It's starting to look quite good. I'm quite pleased with that. I think the next time I stream, probably finished with Vader's mask. Got me light paintbrush dirty. Right, we'll add a few more dots. I think maybe I've had too much wine. Yeah, so I think we're coming up to obviously February half term with us in education, so I'm gonna have like a week off. I think I'm gonna try and do some midweek streams as well as weekend ones. And try and do them a little bit longer as well, because obviously I've been last week. Excuse me, guys. Oh, I can hear myself. There we go. I can still hear myself, sorry. There we go. My phone's just being really annoying and repeating back to me. I don't think you guys will be able to hear it. But yeah, I think over half term I'm going to do some midweek streams, and I'm going to try and do a few long streams as well, because with Twitch I obviously have to build up stream hours. Otherwise you don't like reap any benefits. You can't upload your videos, you can't get subscribers and things like that. So alrighty, I think I'm going to add these last few dots and then I might finish up for the night. So if anyone's got any last questions. Before we finish up, I'll be happy to answer any. Quite a few there. Okay. I think I'm going to finish up there for the night. I'm loving the progress that we've made on that mask. It looks so good. I need to actually make a closing screen for the stream because it felt really awkward last time when I was just like, bye. So I will make a closing screen. But yeah, like I said before, obviously I'm building up momentum on Twitch, but if you did want to support me and what I do have, if you head onto Instagram, I've got a link tree in my bio where you can, you know, if you wanted to support, you can make donations through Ko-fi. I think it's Ko-fi or coffee, I don't know how to pronounce it, Ko-fi or coffee. And I also have an Amazon wish list as well with products on if anyone wanted to support what I'm doing. See, I'm carrying on already, I just want to keep going. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll cut it off there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate anyone who's obviously watched and supported me on these live streams. I've been so nervous. Thank you. I've been so nervous about jumping on. I literally have so much anxiety. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll probably be back on again next Sunday at the same time. I may even do a few extra days next week as well, but if you follow me on Instagram at Beth Munro Art, obviously you'll get any updates and things like that from there. So thank you so much, guys. This is going to cut off really short, so I will make a closing screen next time, but thank you so much. Bye!